This is raw tamarind. It does come in plastic, but it can be bought in bulk. And we could actually distribute it in other types of containers if we wish to. That's a packaging issue we should consider. Anyway, these are nice ones, I can tell, because the shell is largely intact. The less the shell is intact, the more it's been shipped around and beat up. Probably the older it is, too. Just a guess. I could be wrong. I haven't grown it here, and I probably can't grow it here except in a microclimate, and it's so cheap that it would not be worth it to do it. It stores very well, which is excellent, because I don't have to need anything really to keep it good. I think I should have probably an air sealed container, but it just essentially will last a very long time. You can make a paste with it, and that's neat. My biggest problem with people making a paste with it, I just peeled the shell off that pod. Here, see, here's the pod, and here's the shell-less pod. I'll show you next time I do it. Now we've got a bunch of goo with what is very likely 2 seeds in it, is my guess. 2 seeds, I can feel them. The cool thing is, there was a 3rd seed. It's a malformed piece of shit. This is a better seed. See that? Little brown seed. Some of them do look better than this, and they could make jewelry out of them. I think they'd be great as jewelry. So I don't feel like the seeds are waste, which makes me think if I ever serve these as a snack, and I'll tell you how I want to do that, then one problem is it does get your hands gooey, which I don't like. I have a good idea in that regard. I don't like most tamarind paste because every time they sell tamarind stuff, candy and stuff, it's always been adulterated. I hate it. I have an idea on how to get around that. Here, I'll show you how to open this guy up. You just squish it with your fingers, and it breaks off, and it flies all over the place. It's easier than an egg, you know. And there's pieces you pull off, like that. Like, I guess, yeah, like down there. You just kind of pick it off. That gets goo on your hands right there. And then you get goo on your hands the rest of the time you eat it. Eventually you get the seeds, so you should dump it somewhere. Now, it's true we're not going to plant those seeds, but they're material. There is something. I think we should just always, when we're eating these, and we'll continue to explore where we would eat these or why, I think that we should save all the seeds. So we should have a specifically seed container. It should look a different color. It should look really magical or something. And that is just where we collect these exact kinds of seeds. And we keep that thing near where we keep these in bulk. So it's easy for us to bring out that. Do, for example, a fire pit. Which brings us to where we would eat tamarind in the seed form. Now later I'll talk about where we would eat tamarind, or how we would eat tamarind if we boiled the pulp off and then dried it out and had little tamarind bars without adulterating it, without putting sugar in it and crap like that. Make them to be eaten fresh. You know, just get rid of all the work involved using solar hot water heating and all that, and just take whole costal of these things and dump them in and get all that sugary goodness out of there. And then probably, maybe, I don't know, do we shell them first or not? We'd have to make up several things of what we do or don't do, but use as little energy as possible, cranking out tamarind paste all the time. And if we did that, we might also be able to ferment it extremely effectively. I think fermenting it is a great idea. And with that, we might not even have to remove the shells. I don't see why. Pulverize it, yeast it, add some water, yeast it, and then distill it. And or brew it, but I like distilling better. We want to check the price on that one. If we were going to make tamarind liqueur, for example, does that even pencil out? So back to my other use, which is eating them raw. They're kind of like peanuts. The good thing about peanuts, in terms of a fire, is that they don't make your hands sticky, and you can just dump the things on the ground, the husks, just like you can these, and they'll just become part of the ground. So the husks are not a problem at all. Seeds are kind of annoying, but I think it would be fun at a fire. This would be really fun. I mean, the sky's the limit culturally. If we have a bunch of people up for fun, up for trying stuff out, who are up for having a somewhat artificial culture in some ways, if they're not shy about that, then we could have lots of fun. So we could have, for example, oh, I didn't save that one. And that was the best one. Oh, well. We could have a bunch of people decide on a menu how they would like their fire to be. We could run it as a democracy. It'd be hilarious. And you could have, I mean, some fires already have their own set of rules, some locations. That's just how it is, you know. They would have a menu, and they could pick to have, like, let's say you had 3 snacks that could be provided. They could only pick 2. Just for the fun of it. Maybe you could have 5 and they can pick 3. I don't care. But it'd be really fun to have a democratic element to creating a fire. And people can vote on their phone for the fire that night. And then we could even run a statistical thing, or there'd be a graph, right? And showed how many people wanted which thing of the ones who voted during the voting period. So, you know, try and run it like a tiny campfire democracy. We could call it campfire democracy. And then they could also decide things like, I mean, certain things they can't decide. Like the fire has its own rules. For example, some fires will have music permitted, like musical instruments, not amplified music, but musical instruments are not. They could vote whether or not they had a musical director. That'd be fine. But at that campfire, music is generally acceptable. In other campfires, it isn't. At some campfires, there's cooking. In fact, there's one in particular that's cooking. And that can support other people coming in and very politely using those facilities, which hopefully are fairly well developed, to cook with fire. In other words, it's going to be still, even though it's outside, there's still a cook master. But as part of that system, they maintain a hot place for you to put your stuff and cook it, like a pot, for example. But it's not an open fire. And there might be a few spectator or chat spots near the guests, but they control who sits there completely. So basically, it's quieter fire, noisier fire. The question of what other things, the snacks could be democratic, and this is true of the Bosque in general, is how can we increase the amount of democratic decisions made by the people who are visiting. The truth is I haven't worried that much about it, because what I do is I just kind of take a survey and know who's here, and I've read all of their interest lists and everything. And so I kind of basically craft it socially. That's actually my primary function here when there's a bunch of people here. I would say when there's 12 people here and they don't know each other, you know, or maybe there's a few couples or something, then part of my job is actually to help those people have the right activities, the right interactions, and I can do a lot of that structurally. Now, I've done that fairly much as an individual and haphazardly, intuitively. I have made some rules here which do that on their own as well. And then these videos should help a lot as well. You know, when I talk about what kind of people come here, because those are the kind of people I want here, and what kind of people I don't want here. And maybe the people who come here are also the people who don't want those people here. That is exclusionary, by the way. Lots of people talk about inclusion, how great it is. Check out the actual world. We don't have to throw away the entire world as it is. I can use the world for bad things, examples, and good thing examples. But I think that exclusivity can be a good thing. Of course there's dangers. I'm quite well aware, and we could have a whole nother video all about inclusivity versus exclusivity. We could talk about the various environments and all that, but let's not do that right now. So I will have to check if the wind is too bad here. I do see on the screen that the little green things are going more than I would like. And so it's my belief, if after I look at this video, that the wind is too bad, then I will rule out ever doing outdoor video on a windy day. And it turns out that early April, is fairly windy. And I could actually look online and see when the windiest times of the year are. That isn't everything though, because it could be windy just before and after it rains, and it might rain and not rain several times a day. And so I guess my only advice to myself and anyone else would be keep an eye on your wind. Now I do have a weather station over there, and right now the thingy's going around. I might just say if the thingy's going around, I don't record. You know, it's named, it starts with an A. I forgot because I don't care. Wow. Obviously, I forgot my topic because I was distracted. I did talk about tripods a lot. I guess that is important to me. And that's made it hard to communicate what the Bosque village is. What's important to me is that it isn't just a place where we do some activities. Certainly, I don't want it to be a place to relax. It could be occasionally, but most people just want to relax for free, is what I've noticed. I want to attract different kind of people, or I'll be alone. That's one or the other. People can finance themselves, or they can crowdfund it. I just don't care. But I'm going to accept my base price, I think. I have had my form lately for the last year and a half at least, that you just suggest how much you would like to pay. And that confuses people greatly, and I think it drives them away. Because they want to be able to guess correctly. They want to know what values I have and how much I need and how much the place is. Some of them are just looking for paying nothing, the vast majority. I get tons of those. Nobody ever puts a dollar amount in. Nobody has ever put a dollar amount or peso amount in there at all, ever, to come here. I could be wrong. I could have forgotten one. But, oh no, people have put things like 50 pesos or $5, which is actually different. 50 pesos is about $2.50, and $5 is $5, which is about 100 pesos at the moment, I think. In either case, that is a ridiculous amount, and anyone I talk to who is friendly towards me and wants to support me finds that to be a disgusting amount to put, and that I should just ignore those people. And I tend to agree with them. I've been so friendly for so long, and I've given everything I have, and I want to continue giving, but I cannot do it in a state of constant desperation and wanting to die rather than live. You know, and that's all about the money. That is the best support. People ask me all the time, how can I support you? And I should just have a cut and paste answer, which is like, well, the ideal way is actually money. Because when there's a problem, money fixes it. Money also is very related to my relationship with the local community here. I mean, do you not think that I constantly am trading with them? Of course I'm trading with them. They're using the forest for all kinds of things. And it depends on my mood. It depends on my relationship with the person there. It depends on my relationship with their whole family, you know, and how long I've known them and, you know, the time of year and everything. But a lot of people live off this forest and off this project as well. And so if I don't have any money, then the project can't function with them. And that's terrible for their families. And that's why everybody here moves and they go up on a contract and they work in the States. They do that because they can make way more money there than here. It's not because they want to be up there. The work up there is very hard. They work in the wineries. And they don't get a great cultural experience up there or anything. If they work in a restaurant, they would. But the guys I know go up and work in grape wineries. And they live with each other and they don't learn any English. The company probably doesn't have a goal to have an English-speaking program. I don't know this. I'm just making it up. But they might not want their workers to have more opportunities. I did try to do some English language things here, but I'm not an English teacher and I don't feel like being one. So that kind of ruins that, doesn't it? But I would not be against a program to when those guys are back in Mexico, to run an intensive English training program, because they have extra time, they have motivation, and so that would require an English teacher, or a fluent English, Spanish, Mexican would be ideal, and they could run it as their own deal. So I've written a little bit about that online, English teaching programs and English learning programs in Bosque Village. So, anyway, I gotta go. See you later.